So here we are, we're at Kirk Michael Church, ready for this 22.5 mile walk today. This is going to be the longest training walk that Shelley's doing in preparation for the parish. And how do you feel today?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it today. This is the flattest part of the course, so it'll be a contrast to my training walks that I've done over the previous weeks. So it'll be interesting to see how I get on in comparison.
And bearing in mind that when you get here, this is 39 miles in, so you will have somewhat tired legs, and in theory the long flat or relatively flat section through to Lezayre should be a respite, but it's not necessarily so. Particularly from Derby through to Bride, I suffer quite a lot on that stretch, and I know quite a lot of other people do as well. But you'll get on the course now and just experience it for yourself.
Yep, looking forward to it.
Okay. Keep left, because on the day you'll come down here. Yeah. See, that's a good example of practicing on the course, isn't it? So this is the Len Bridge, and there's a nice little climb up from here, which is one of the main climbs on this section. It's just over 9 miles since the start of the walk, and 2 hours in. And this is the lane that goes up to Andreas Church, and as you can see, it's pretty rough. We have all spotlights set up here, you know, for illumination.
Yeah.
In case it's dark when people arrive. Because as I say, the ground is pretty rough with all these stones. So we passed through St Jude's and we're on our way down to Sulby Bridge now, before we rejoin with the TT course for the final couple of miles into Lezayre Church. And we've done 20 miles today, and we're now into uncharted territory.
Oh, 22.5 miles done.
Plus 22.5 plus, it's more than 22.5.
Oh yeah, well yeah, over 22 and a little bit extra. But yeah, so longest walk yet. Yeah, interesting is what I'll say for that one.
Until the summary.
Yeah. So at the end of my training walk this week, I mentioned that I'd found the training walk interesting, and there's several different reasons for this. Now, when I started the day, I wasn't quite sure how it would go, And the reason being, from all the years that I've done backup for Russell, I knew that people found this section of the course on race day to be particularly difficult. It's where they found it harder mentally. I think partly because they've already come 39 miles by the time they've got to Kirk Michael. Then it's a pretty flat section of the course, and because of the hedgerows, it makes you feel a little bit more enclosed and you don't get as much scenery on this section of the course. Plus the roads are very long and winding. So I wasn't quite sure how I would get on with it. Now, from the Kirk Michael to Derby section, it was a nice walk, no issues at all. I was managing to get into a rhythm, which was really nice. And then I got to the Derby to Bride section, and I hadn't come very many miles. I was on fresh feet, but for some reason I still found this section of the course to be quite difficult. It almost felt like it was a lower energy around this area, and maybe again that's because the hedgerows make you feel a little bit enclosed and you can't see as much of the scenery as you can on other sections of the course. But it's approximately 7 miles this section, so I knew by the time I got to Bride it was then another couple of miles on to Andreas, and then approximately another 6 miles to Lezayre. So I knew I just had to carry on and get through this section, and then hopefully it would get better. Another reason I found the course interesting is because that particular section, even though I was on fresh legs, I did struggle with mentally a little bit. And Russell is always saying to me, you've got to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And I got a taste of this week. I think I'd been lulled maybe into a false sense of security on the other weeks, because on most sections it was actually a pleasure to walk on. Beautiful scenery, you had the uphills, the downhills, so there was a lot of variety along the way. Whereas this week I was hit with the long roads that felt like they were going to go on forever and ever, and I was never going to get to my destination. So it was a test for me. It was a little test of how I would handle trying to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And like I say, it has set me up to be prepared a little bit for the day, to know that maybe this section will be a little bit difficult and I've just got to push through it. Thanks for following along with us in this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Despite it being a challenging section of the course, I'm really happy to have successfully completed it. Now for the next 2 weeks I'm going to stay off the open roads, and I'll make a return back to the National Sports Centre where I'll focus on my speed work. And the reason for staying off the open roads is it's the start of the TT fortnight, so the roads are full of bikes and it's just not safe to be out on the open roads during this time. So I'll still aim to get some good training in, and it'll be good to focus again on my speed work. Again, it'll add a little bit of variety back into my training schedule before I'm then back on the open roads again for the last 2 weeks before the actual race day, which is now coming round rapidly. So thanks for watching this week, and I hope to catch you in next week's video.